Okay, Scott.
Good morning, it's 9 a.m., Monday, June 20th, 2022. This is the Muscatine County Board of Supervisors. I'd like to call the meeting into order. First is to review the agenda.
Move to approve as presented.
Motion by Jeff, second by Nathan. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Discussion and possible action to approve the minutes of the June 13, 2022 regular meeting and the June 14, 2022 special meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Jeff, second by Santos. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next is correspondence. Jeff, do you have anything?
All I had was Don Briggs had sent us a question regarding the new ATV, UTV state law, and I did not respond to him. I don't know if anyone did, but from my understanding, that goes into effect July 1, and I think Nancy indicated she and the county attorney were gonna look at that and see what that does to our local ordinance. But it looks to me it negates it, and we'll probably not have a local ordinance anymore. That's it.
Okay. Nathan?
I had the same as Jeff.
Okay. I had Don Briggs also. I also had a call from a county resident regarding a refrigerator that was dumped into their road ditch, and I text Keith on that issue to see if the county would take care of that issue, and said that they would. But it's just another example of what goes on when there isn't easy access for disposal of things like that. But in this situation, of course, on these appliances, that doesn't need to happen, because you can actually take these appliances down to, say, Muscatine Metals and drop them off there. You're not going to get paid for it, but there's no charge either. So that a resident can certainly do that. That's all I had for correspondence. Santos?
Good. I think a lot of residents maybe not know that.
That's why I
So
pointed
I
that
think
out
it's
today.
how do we communicate that information? I think that's key in what you mentioned about that. In correspondence, I had the ATV, UTV, but I also had an opportunity last week to tour the jail expansion that we had with Officer McCleary and some of his staff. I think it was really good to see some of the expansions that they did, how much dollars went into the project. I think it turned out really well. There's a lot of things that we learned from it, and I think they're still working through. Eric was with us on the tour too, and so was Jeff on it as well. So that's all I had for correspondence.
Okay. Doug?
Just email from Don Briggs about state law on ATV and UTVs and road closure on York Avenue. That's all I had.
Okay. Committee reports, Jeff?
Yeah, on the 16th, I had the State Mental Health and Disability Services Region meeting. It was a Zoom meeting.
That everything?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. Nathan?
Yeah, I didn't have anything last week, but I realized, Tybee, I forgot to include on June 10th, we had the Judicial, 7th Judicial District Department of Corrections meeting. I think I neglected to mention that last time, so I wanted to make sure that was on there.
Okay. I had, on Wednesday the 15th, I had Riverbend Transit, and I also had the EFSP board, the Emergency Food and Shelter Program, and due to the large amount of funding, they're going to give more time for a response from other entities on that, because the funding source is slightly over $54,000, and there was only one party that had applied for this, and I think it'd just be better to spread this around to other groups. So we're going to meet again towards the end of the month, I believe on the 29th, and see if we have more people apply and see if that shakes out a little bit better. That's all I had. Santos?
I had the Trails Committee meeting with the city, and we talked a little bit about the Destination Iowa dollars that are available through the state. We also talked about some of the same presentation that we had from the Wilton City Administrator in regards to the expansion that they were looking at. In some of those discussions, we've been working with Mark Urrington from MPW in regards to expanding our trails, kind of showing where we're at locally, what we have in the county, and then the, kind of like the 5-year plan, similar to what we've been working with the county engineer. And then when I talked to them in regards to, you know, how Wilton was looking at the expansion with Destination Iowa, one of the challenges that I proposed is, you know, we have the trail at Deep Lakes, basically runs to 57th Street, and that's it. Is there a potential for us to apply for some of those Destination Iowa dollars to connect us to Eliza County? And I think that, I had that conversation with the team. Kurt Weiss was in the meeting as well too. And so, Kurt has sent me an email kind of sharing, you know, what the locations was. I know that we do have, I think in the next 2 to 3 years with the county engineer in regards to redoing Stewart Road. So I mean, there may be a potential for some tie-in as well too there, but I just shared with them, I said, you know, if we can apply, you know, the worst thing they can do is say no, but I think that that's a real good connection. So we're working on that, and I think just the expansions on the trail, working with MPW is kind of a real neat thing that people can do. And then we're also connecting with the Quad City trails, so they can be mapping when we get tourism potential here in Muscatine County for that as well. That's all I have.
Okay, Doug?
No committees, I just worked Tractorcade, which was a huge success at the fairgrounds, and we received a sponsorship from the city of Wilton, which is the first time I think we've ever had a sponsorship from the city. So thank you, Wilton. And we have super late model races this Saturday. Hot laps are at 6 and then racing to follow, so
Okay.
should be a good venue.
Yeah, I heard nothing but great things about the Tractorcade, and talked to dozens of people that visited and participated, and just a great impact for the county and the fairgrounds, and to showcase that, and it worked incredibly well from my understanding. So a lot of work there, and hats off to that group, and it's a big project to pull those off.
Yeah, it worked out real well.
Okay, next is items with the administration office. First is discussion and possible action authorizing the chair to execute an FY 22-23 Iowa Burn Justice Assistant Grant, JAG program contract in the amount of $43,067.
I will move to approve.
Second.
I got a motion by Jeff, second by, who's second?
Santos.
Santos, okay. Motion by Jeff, second by Santos. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next is discussion and possible action to approve 8 upcoming special event permits for Arden Creek Vineyard and Winery LLC as requested by Chad Furlong. Article 3, Section 3.26 of the zoning ordinance allows native wineries or cider mills as a special use, subject to specific requirements, including Board of Supervisors approval of any special event in which wine will be sold for on-site consumption, and attendance of more than 35 persons is anticipated.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Nathan, second by Santos. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next is discussion and possible action to approve position, regrading, and step placement recommendations.
I included a memo in your packet, like we have done with a number of other positions. We took a look at the maintenance worker position, and created a maintenance worker 1 and a maintenance worker 2, to recognize employees who have fully mastered all the responsibilities of the job. So it is my recommendation to you that what used to be the maintenance worker would now become a maintenance worker 2, and would be maintenance worker 2 and be in grade 10, and there'll be a new maintenance worker 1, which would be in grade 11. And then in conjunction with that, we have 2 employees that are currently maintenance workers. And so it's my recommendation that both of them be moved to the maintenance worker 1 class and remain in the same step.
Okay.
This is general maintenance?
Yes, this is our,
So this isn't roadway maintenance?
no, this is Oscar and the folks who work for him.
Good. Okay.
I'll move to approve.
Second it.
Motion by Jeff, second by Santos. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Discussion and possible action to approve a hiring request with General Services.
So this is a request to hire someone who worked for us previously and left and is returning, which is why the request is to bring them in above minimum.
I'll move to approval.
Second.
Motion by Jeff, second by Doug. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Nancy, are we good with headcount in that department?
We actually, with this, we're fully staffed, but one of the individuals that we just regraded is actually done in early July. And so, they just completed interviews and made a tentative offer to a new individual, subject to, I still need to get the background check done and physical and drug testing. And so then, once the person retires and the new person comes on, then we'll be back to full staff.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Next is discuss June 30th, 2022 cash count assignments.
Yes, as you may recall, every year at the end of the fiscal year, we have to do cash counts for all the departments that have petty cash. The assignments last year was that Nathan did recorder, assessor, county attorney, and auditor. Scott did the engineer, Jeff did the jail, Santos did the treasurer, and Doug did conservation. Will those assignments work again?
Sure.
Works for me.
Okay, I will notify the departments that you guys will either be there around 3:30 on June 3rd, Thursday, June 30th, or before they open for business on July 1st. And I'll get your sheets to you next week, okay?
Super, thank you.
Nancy, would you mind notifying my group? I've got something on July 1st, early morning, so, I'll have to do it the 30th.
June 30th, okay. Will do.
What time we normally do that? I'm trying to remember.
If you have 4 departments to do, which all of them are relatively small.
Right.
But I would suggest you get here about 3:30, and that gives you plenty of time to get through all of them, and they'll be anticipating you, so they should have everything ready to go.
Beautiful.
Okay. Anything other with the administration?
I don't have anything else.
Okay. Next is receive information from county employees. Do I have any county employee that would like to address the board?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to give an update on some of our road projects that we got going on right now. Out on 171st, out by SSAB, last week they finished up the majority of the dirt work, and this week the paving contractor is preparing and hoping to start mainline paving sometime this week. Up on York Ave, the bridge just south of F58, they closed the road down last week on the 15th. They've begun moving in equipment, and this week they should start tearing down the existing bridge.
About how long is that project on York? I was looking at it the other day.
The length or the
Yeah,
time?
no, the time frame.
They did this is a Jim Schrader construction. They did the one on Douglas, which is a pretty similar bridge, and that took about 3 months. I mean, they'll have a good majority of the bridge done here, probably I would say in a month and a half or so.
Yeah.
They do these types of bridges and size of bridges
Yeah.
quite often. They have a pretty good system down.
Yeah, yeah. I was just thinking about ag traffic, cause that's a pretty substantial artery there.
Mhm.
So that's all I was thinking about for those folks out that way.
Yeah.
But
I
if
would-
things go well, it sounds to me like,
It's weight restricted now.
yeah,
I would think it has a very good chance of being completed
yeah,
before harvest.
very good.
And then the last, which this isn't really even our project, it's Scott County's project, but up on 60th Ave, up by Walcott, there is a box culvert that is starting today. That got pushed up in schedule, so that might be
Ooh,
why.
it was moved up.
Yes, it was moved up. Well, excuse me, it got moved back. The late start did because they had utility issues, and then they were planning on coming in, I believe in a couple of weeks, and then last minute they decided today. So like I said, that's Scott County's project, so.
Brian, on 170 First Street, when do you think that that's anticipated, right? You talked about them paving. Is that gonna be paving to complete or paving to do portions of the sections of it, or?
They will start with just portions. They'll start on one end and slowly work their way to the other.
So do you think we're still about a month and a half, 2 months, 3 months?
Yes. All the above. It's definitely up in the air.
Okay.
I'd hate to give too much of a
No, that's fine.
solid
That's
answer
fine.
on that.
I think it's just wanting to know where they're at on that and continuing to be having to use Ward Avenue is kind of my concern.
I'd say a couple more months.
Is Ward still holding up pretty well?
It is. Ward's holding up fairly well. 171st through, and the whole thing's kind of curvy, but through the curves there's a little bit of chatter. We do have it on the schedule to get more dust control, either late this week or hopefully next week with Benson Stevens.
Yeah, I've been out there and looked at Ward and 171st several times, and I'm amazed how well
Ward
that's
is
held
doing
up.
good. I just think long-term, I mean,
Yeah, I'm
they
amazed.
do not take out small loads out of that facility. I mean, and the weight constrictions are ridiculous, and so I'm concerned about that.
There was heavy traffic on Ward before they ever started the project.
I know. So it's just, it's good to know. Okay. Thank you, Brian.
That's all I got for an update. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Any, yes, Sheriff?
Talking about the Tractorcade event last week, I would like to give hats off to our reserve guys. One of the days, one of the reserve officers worked 14 hours, and another day one worked 11 hours. And those guys are strictly volunteer out there doing that, so hats off to them. Also, not this past Saturday, but a week ago, Saturday, we had another first at the gym. We had a child born in the facility, so hats off to our correctional officers and also our nursing staff for taking care of that. So it's a year
That's a
of first
first.
for us. So that's all I have.
Okay.
Running a jail and birthing center, huh? Okay.
Thought we were trying to build a clinic. Now we don't need one.
Thank you.
What's the first baby delivered in Muscatine? When's the last baby delivered in Muscatine County? It's been a while, right?
We've definitely had one.
Yeah, that's
Yes, Keith?
Quick comment on the UTV bill. I know it specifically said cities, et cetera, could keep their own restrictions and ordinances. I don't know if it includes counties or not, but it's probably, my opinion, it's probably gonna end up a board decision if you stay with any restrictions or not, so you might wanna think about that.
Yeah, generally, I would think the in home rule, generally you can be more restrictive, not less,
Right.
than the state law, so I think that's something I would look for a county attorney for guidance on, because I agree that I think there's a couple of roads that we were restricting that I'm not real excited about. I've been down there quite a bit recently, and there's significant heavy truck traffic down there. I was following a bicyclist down Stewart and saw the kind of issues that causes when you have all those large truck traffic trying to pass, and it's just not a great place for that kind of activity. We're asking for trouble, I think.
we are basically gonna follow up on that same thing.
Yeah.
Just wanna mention that is something that's on Jim's desk of questions, cause we wanna try to continue to keep the same restrictions that we've been recommended by your team, and so that's our hope. Thanks.
Well, I will comment on that this spring, the amount of ATV usage I see throughout the county, and I'm all over the county. And, I don't see any substantial uptick in traffic at all. What I do see is more utilization in the ag world of that mode of transportation for these guys, just shuttling equipment and so on. But as far as just recreational UTV, ATV traffic just on the road, just to go for a drive, I've not seen a substantial uptick at all. I even asked the question at a Farm Bureau meeting, what all those members thought of if it was a positive impact or negative, and I don't believe there was a single negative response to my question, so I think everyone has done well with it. So that's just a comment I had. Any other county employees wish to address the board for any reason? Seeing none. Receive comments from the public. Do I have anyone from the public that would like to address the board on an issue? Seeing no one come forward, we will take, it's 9:21, and we'll take a short recess and come back in at 9:25. Thank you, everyone.